know, winning the possession battle and generating more turnovers have been points of emphasis for you guys. How did you like the way you guys were able to turn them over and convert?
Yeah, I mean, I think we scored 30-some points off our turnovers. That's usually what bites us, you know, some nights, and so be able to kind of turn that and use it against our opponents was good. You know, see how easy the game was when we get deflections and help each other out on defense.
You've spoken highly of the rookies. How big was their impact on the defensive end tonight?
That was incredible, man. It's great to see them out there, and regardless of the situation, circumstance leading up into these games, they stay professional, stay ready, and when their number's called, they go out there and play their games and bring energy to the whole crowd. And I love playing with those guys, and it's something we need to build on. I know we've been talking about this for so long, but each game matters, and every possession matters. So they came out there with that type of mindset and was able to impact the game.
It's a new season high, 24 threes from the team.
Nice.
What just allowed for you guys to have so much production from the perimeter?
I mean, Book was great at getting guys open shots. Our whole offense was great. The guys who handled the ball made sure we made the correct passes. And lately we've been knocking them down, and we practice them a lot too. So we try to knock them in once we get them and not hesitate. And tonight was one of those nights. You know, it felt like times was 5 for 5, or 4 for 4, I think. But it felt like every little run they had, we generated an open three, and that got us going and kind of stretched the lead. So we're gonna need that going forward.
Yeah, thin margin for error just with the standings. But what does tonight do, not only with the standings, but just this group getting back in the win column?
Yeah, it's just about taking it a possession at a time, to be honest. I don't know how many games we got, 15 more. You know, so we just got to focus on each possession, man, and see where that takes us. And can't think too far down the line. We can't expect anything. Just go out there and play our game, follow the game plan. I think tonight was one of those nights that we did that. And so we got to build on it. I know we've been saying it all year, but I probably won't stop saying it until the season's over. We got to build on these efforts and transfer them over to the next game and watch film and get better.
Ryan spoke about growing pains, some losing the spot, then getting back into the starting lineup. Obviously, you had the expose on the mentorship when you showed up at his brother's baseball game the other day. So what do you say to him in those moments where he's trying to get back and working with the rotation?
I don't say nothing to him. You need to go through some stuff as a rookie. You need to figure stuff out on your own and understand what all of this stuff means, you know, the business of basketball, your role on the team, what your coaches are staying in. I think, you know, Ryan also been doing a good job of just sitting back and figuring out what the NBA is all about and seeing how they can inject themselves, you know. So if Ryan was pouting because he wasn't playing and his spot, you know, he lost his spot due to injury or he wasn't getting minutes, then he wouldn't come out here when he got his opportunity and take advantage of it like he did. So he stayed focused with us, stayed locked in. He was him and Oso were the main energetic guys on the bench when they weren't playing. So all that stuff matters, man, when you're not in the game. So when you get into the game, your energy's in the right place, your vibe and your focus is in the right place, and you go out there and help the team when you put the team first, regardless. Those two guys, they do that every morning. They're in there first, and they're working hard, waiting for their opportunity, and hopefully there's more of them coming.
Kevin, with the way you guys were able to generate turnovers, how much does that help the flow and rhythm offensively to play out those turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, every team is good when you get numbers in transition like we got. You get an advantage when you're playing, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, and 5-on-4, so we took advantage of those.
You had some back and forth with Jay, it looked like?
With who?
With Jay Crowder?
I don't even know. Who?
Jay Crowder.
I ain't even hear a word from dog.
How's it going to impact you or the rest of the team after you see a guy like Mace get thrown out for the second straight game?
I love that. I hate to see Mace get thrown out. Obviously, he won him in the game, but his physicality, the last few games, you're playing against real physical bigs. Steven Adams, Sabonis, guys throw their weight around, So he's trying to hold up and hold his ground, and sometimes, he tiptoes that line of a flagrant 2 or an ejection. But we always got Mace back, and we know he has no ill intentions out there on the floor. He's just trying to be physical and set a tone for us. I'll be watching them next game and see what happens next game because 3 in a row would be insane.
Kevin, did you see a shift in the game, like a particular time in the game where everything just shifted with the energy?
No, I think just from the tip, I think we had a good vibe. I think from the beginning of the game, we were pretty much in control. We had it's an NBA, they're a high-scoring team. They got 3 or 4 guys that been all-stars the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So you knew they would make a run, and they did in that second quarter. But that third quarter, we stayed focused and stuck to our game plan, and you've seen the league grow again. So I love how we stayed poised throughout that little run that they made, and it wasn't one of those games where we just happened to make shots and dominate the whole game. We had to go through a little adversity there in the second quarter to really make this into a good win. So something that we all can just keep building on and we can lean back on.
Kevin, when you talk about spacing tonight, I thought that was a huge part of the threes. Like the guys were getting them in rhythm, catch and shoot. How big will you feel like the spacing was?
Yeah, Sacramento, they do a lot of. They basically almost play a zone. When the guys driving, they're gonna almost put themselves in the front of the ball to try to stop the ball from getting into the paint. And I think we read those pretty perfectly. We were hitting corners, we were hitting wings. They were shifting off of our shooters so much, double teaming the ball. They were flooding from the baseline, which means they were doubling from the base. So they put a lot of resources on the ball sometimes. And when you do that, you open up that 3 on the backside. And we took advantage of that. We played with a better pace, so we wouldn't turn the ball over with all that pressure. So it's a good game for us on that end.
Great bench production tonight. I think it's 45 points. I think Tyus had 20. Ighodaro had 11. Just maybe speak to that effort and how big was that for you guys tonight?
Yeah, no, I mean, Tyus just shot it lights out. 6 for 6 from the 3-point line. I think some of them timely. So 20 for him is huge. And, Oso basically played, the last 19, 20 minutes straight. Just does a lot of things on both ends of the court. His IQ is disciplined defensively. Some of the things he does out there are just, very instinctual, but also very disciplined. And, great getting in and out of screens. And, so, yeah, the bench was big.
Curious, early in the year you were playing 3 bigs. You had obviously Nurkic and Mason and Ighodaro. Is there any thought of going back to playing 3 bigs? I know that maybe would be out of it'd probably be 10-man rotation to get that. But is there any thought of doing that now, the way Ighodaro's playing right now?
I mean, we have a ton of confidence in him. So, it's always great to have options. And, we're probably processing, how we played tonight. We'll get ready for the Lakers. We'll see how Nick feels, see how Mason's feeling. But certainly a lot of confidence in Oso and what he can do.
Just to follow with Mason, what exactly is wrong with him after that play?
No, I mean, he just went knee to knee. So I'm assuming you're talking about the play at the beginning of the game. He went knee to knee, but, I think the initial, kind of pain and, I think he kind of walked it off and was obviously able to play. So, we'll see how he feels in the morning.
Coach, we spoke about the defense and athleticism that the rookies provide. What did you see from them in terms of how they were able to impact the game on the defensive end?
Yeah, no, I mean, Ryan's presence, Ryan being up the court, just making them uncomfortable, I think really set the tone for us. Monk is a tough cover. Creative in how he gets to his spots, gets to the, where he wants to go, and especially with Sabonis. I think having that, and, Kevin's taken on, the DeRozan matchup to get the block shot to start the second half, and I think Kevin's really stepped up his defense. So the whole group, I thought, competed defensively.
I know winning the possession battle and generating more turnovers have been points of emphasis for you guys. What did you see from the guys on that front tonight?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the first possession of the game, I think we created a turnover, So, again, I think Ryan was a big part of setting the tone for that. But everybody contributed, the activity, the connective, mindset to beat different places, to cover for each other, to scramble. create turnovers was good for us tonight.
To bounce off that, how did you see the offense benefit from that ability to play off not only misses but turnovers as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I can't see it, but I think quite a few points off of turnovers for us, which is great to see that in kind of the reverse of what's happened to us too many nights. So, I think it helps. It helps everybody get a good feel, get some easy baskets off of turnovers, and then just play fast and play random. So it was helpful.
Coach, Mason earlier at the shoot-around said about matching physicality. How do you have him balance that, or how do you balance that with basically going overboard, 2 straight ejections?
Yeah, no, I mean, we had a laugh with Mason. It'd be nice if he made it through a whole game going into Sunday. But I think it's good. We need that kind of, physicality, the presence, I thought, Ryan a little bit gave it to us too. We got to have that fight. So, we need Mason to play and finish. But I like what he's bringing and the mindset that he's given us.
Coach, there's been a good amount of times throughout the season, including tonight, where on the court Kevin's kind of upset when nothing materializes, when you're running your random offense. Is that something that you guys have kind of talked about, and are there ways to go about kind of fixing that frustration or the results of the offense?
No, I mean, the more everybody moves, if it's random and you're moving, then things can happen. So I think we just got to keep fighting that and keep trying to get people to move. And, when you play random, it's not always going to be perfect. I'm frustrated sometimes. I think hopefully the net gain, is good for us.
And I know we've talked a lot about the ups and downs of the season, but to have kind of the inconsistent minutes over the last few weeks and to come in these last 2 games and have that type of impact, what's been your approach on the defensive end in particular?
I would say not even a defensive end, just life. Like I cannot be I cannot be upset like I'm playing NBA basketball. Like I'm a rookie. It's just the stuff that's gonna go through. So I think the biggest thing for me was just being able to just be ready whenever my time was called. Getting a lot of extra reps up, working out at night, working out after the game sometimes. Being able just to talk to the coaching staff and learn with them, being a good teammate, and just defensively, just kind of learning the game more, watching more film, and just being able to be a good teammate overall. So that's kind of the biggest things I've been trying to do, is with the less minutes, but not trying to get down on myself or trying to, get around on anybody else. Just whatever I got to do to get back on the floor is what I try to do. So it was good to get back out there tonight and start tonight. So being able to get ready for the Lakers on Sunday? Yeah.
To your point, it felt like you and Oso in particular were playing with a lot of emotion. I know you guys bring that energy when you step on the floor, but was it particularly gratifying to come in and just see the impact and the energy that you could bring tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good, especially him. I see that he was plus 23. That's a winner, that's just something that's big for us. And, we had a lot of emotion. That's kind of what we need to bring every night, that kind of energy and that kind of emotion for these guys and, help kind of lead in that area.
You said earlier this season that you look forward to having more emphatic slams, and how much was it to get that exclamation point down the middle on that last?
Oh man, I haven't had one of those since college. That was kind of a big one for me, and to get that little scream out was good to get the crowd involved. So being able to get a little bit more of those.
Now about your 4 steals career high, and Coach Bud talked about how Malik is a tough cover. What exactly was able to help you get to that point tonight and getting those picks from behind and everything else that led to those 4?
I think it wasn't just me; it was just the team. Like you said, Malik Monk's a very tough assignment, so it is my job just being aggressive, getting out of foul trouble, and just kind of make it tough on him. But everybody about trying to shrink the floor in, making him see a few more bodies than just kind of the big. That's kind of the drop coverage. He's got to see them, and then that kind of gives me opportunity to poke it from behind or be in the passing lane. So that's kind of been the biggest thing, just team defense, everyone, scrambling around. I think we did a good job tonight with that.
Ryan, when you're able to get out and back
Oh,
here.
my fault.
It's all good, Ryan. When you're able to get out and run like that, not only off misses but off turnovers especially, is there like a tangible difference you could notice to how that impacted you guys offensively?
Yeah, like you said, being able to run and get easy layups is big for us. Getting the momentum of the game switched a lot. I think in the first half we did a really good job with that. You know, making it tough on them in the paint, and you know, being able to run out and get layups and finish at the rim is kind of good, and gets the crowd involved here as well. So we need a little bit more of those plays. As we could have seen, you got a little bit static in the second and third quarter. That's when they kind of made their run back. They kind of ran on us. So being able to slow the game down, take your time, but you know, be aggressive off misses and turnovers.
Mason talked about after the Houston game wanting to respond to some of the physicality. He did so again tonight. What does that do for the team, though? Like, obviously, you'd love to have him on the floor, but what that does for you guys to see someone responding in that way?
He doesn't take anything lightly. You know, he's not. I can't say the word I really want to say, but you know, he's not gonna be punked. He's not gonna be bullied. He's gonna, you know, be the aggressor sometimes, and we need that. You know, people are gonna try to out-punk us and try to do too much for us, but for him, you know, obviously getting ejected was something that we not wanted, but it was something that's big for us in this going on stretch. So being able to be physical and being able to be the hitter first, hit them first, not being hit first and responding.
Ryan, going back to that mindset that you were saying you established, who's been the loudest voice in the locker room kind of helping you form that mindset?
It's a good one. I think like a lot of them. D-Lee, KD, Brad, Cody. You know, Cody, when he first got in here, I give him a big shout out to him. He's been helping me a lot, you know, learning me, watching through practice and seeing him get back. But he's been a good veteran for me, so him. But Brad, all of them just been telling me to be ready.
Speaking of being ready, obviously, when did you get the word that you were going to start and maybe starting the way you did? How big was that for you, the early start of the game?
I got the news today at shoot-around. I was excited, but, you know, I was just kind of like, all right, let's just get back to what we were doing. Don't try to overthink or do too much to prove anybody. Just go out and just play my basketball.
The other thing I have was you and Oso haven't had moments together as of late. The last you guys did with the feed to you for the dunk. Is this energy that you and him have brought, has that been lacking, you think, and how big do you think that was tonight?
I don't think lacking. I think, you know, as a veteran team, we bring something that, you know, maybe some of us don't bring a lot of speed, athleticism. I'm not saying that they're old, but, you know, we kind of bring a little bit more of that. And, you know, just trying to do little things. You know, everyone on this team has a role. It's not like we're trying to go out and, you know, do crazy stuff, but trying to be able to play in our role and do that. And the biggest thing I said about Oso is I see he was plus 23. Like, that's huge. That's winning basketball. So, going out there and, you know, him playing how he played, and, you know, I'm very happy for him, and we just got to keep growing. You know, it's just one game, and we'll move on to the next game.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay. Appreciate you guys.